YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look at this beautiful BAE Hawk. Yes, we're featuring it today again. Amazing. But also 50 millimeters. Supposed to be 3S, but you know how we roll. Also flying on the NX70 if you guys are looking for an economy offering that's gonna get the job done on a lot of these beginner and lower channel planes. Go for it, guys. Good choice. 1500 4S right here. Yeah, you heard right. It's supposed to be 3S. We're gonna show you when it doesn't catch on fire that it's not gonna catch on fire. Hopefully it doesn't catch on fire. If it does catch on fire, at least you get to watch me crash mine because it'll be hilarious. All right, guys, without further ado, throttle cuts off. I do have auto leveling turned on for my main event, which is gonna be launch, and we're gonna fly it right now, okay? Here goes nothing. There's deer back there right now. Out of the auto leveling, right behind where the plane is, going back. Guys, look at that. With the Vector equipped BAE Hawk, we do have a voltage alarm in there. It's probably gonna chime a little bit as they sag the packs in the cold. Camera crew, you gonna come over here with me?
Yeah, I'll try.
Oh man, that thing is so much fun, guys. One of our favorite Arrows products yet, and we've done quite a few of them. This little BAE Hawk is so much fun, and yes, I know it's supposed to be a BAE Hawk, but I'm just an American. Guys, loving the way this thing flies, just like I did before. I've, of course, mixed in an aileron. I've mixed out the rudder and mixed back in the ailerons on both sticks so I can move, particularly for hand launch, I can move the rudder stick and impact change. Goodness gracious, that thing looks good, doesn't it?
It does.
Like 50, 60% throttle, guys. The last time we flew this on 4S, I was flying it without the front half of the plane. You may have noticed it's new. It is new. Don't worry, it did not magically heal itself, although if I figured that out, I would share that magic sauce all the time. Out of the throttle by. Let's listen. Oh, so sweet. Okay, full throttle. Hard on the throttle.
Did you mention that you have an AR-410 in there?
AR-410 installed, working perfectly. By the way, guys, you have to get a little bit creative on how you do your radio setup on these things so you can change your modes, okay? So good. I did run my ailerons at like 110% of throws. So similar to the way we found that FMS servos on Spectrum gear can overdrive a little bit. Sometimes we get up to 150%. On this one, we're looking at about 110% before we start kind of running out of throw. You can also go out one hole. Now on the elevator, I am in the inside hole for a little extra throw. I think they called out the outside hole, and I'm very glad I stuck it where I stuck it. And by the way, I did have to open up the hole with a paper clip.
Jeez.
I know. I was trying to ram it in there and I like ripped the head off almost.
It's a lot of work for a different hole.
You know, it just depends on your priorities. So guys, let's show you some auto leveling. Right here, we're in normal. Here's auto leveling. That's a Vector auto leveling. So I'll get into the throttle a little bit. Okay, now here's just normal stabilization. Okay, now I'm gonna go to off. Here's off. Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit more bitey. It's gonna be definitely rolly, a lot more rolly and a lot more pulley. As you can see, it's gonna roll a little quicker. And then I'm gonna go to auto leveling. You can see how it auto levels the plane. It's got a little bit of a tip to the right. As I let go of the sticks, it's just gonna try to level the plane for me. So if you're a brand new pilot, this is really helpful. That's through what's called the Vector. The Vector is a flight controller that's offered by Arrows. It's an exclusive for them. And it does work pretty dang good, actually. I'm not gonna go out of my way to put a Vector in a new plane on my own. That's a plug and fly. But truthfully, it's a great way to hold down the cost as it pertains to some of these 50 millimeters, you know, in the lower cost airplanes. There you go, right toward the D6. As you can see, you can really bank and yank this thing. It is definitely a bank and yank, and I definitely have just a little bit of trim on the elevator to get it to fly totally flat, but I've actually really enjoyed the little bit of up elevator because it's helping me to keep it perfectly in frame for the camera crew. The camera crew, of course, one of the best. Right over the dam, that's where the dam's gonna be, guys. The camera crew, one of the best in the industry right here. She's mine, which is awesome. Also known as my wife, and she tolerates me. But that being said, guys, we love this product. Obviously with arrows, there's been a few changes through Hobby Zone, and that's just part of life when people kind of retire out of the business. That doesn't mean that the products they had been selling are any worse than they were before, but I'll tell you what, man, this thing is a great plane. I love flying it. Comes packaged nicely. If you guys want to watch our unbox build radio setup, I think you're going to see it set up on the NX6 or the NX8. I can't remember which one. Of course, we're flying NX10s now, and then recently we got this NX7E, and so it's just been a really better than expected experience. I thought it looked a lot like a cow, and I was correct. And then I got it, and then my kid was like, oh, that thing looks so cool. And I'm like, what? You're undermining my messaging. And so all joking aside, it actually doesn't look as cowish as I thought, and it does work pretty good. Some complaints about it. It doesn't come with a lanyard, and it's got the very small battery, 2,000 milliamp hour. But you know what? It's an economy offering, supposed to get you in the door, get you hooked. It's like a free sample from your favorite dealer no, I was talking about your family doctor, sorry. Sorry, YouTube's gonna love that. Over the sun. Oh man, that's some cool. We're gonna get a snow dog today?
We might.
By the way, we are actually looking at potential for flurries today. So guys, if you're in China and you're wanting us to review something, this is kind of the hilarious joke of Brian Phillips today. Make sure you wait until the snow starts flying and then send stuff.
Yeah, we needed it 3 months ago.
Yeah, but no, all joking aside, we love this plane. It's a really good example of what you can do on a budget and still have a very enjoyable time. I gotta say, see those birds? Check this out. These birds are like, let's go find out what's going on here. What's up, birds? I'm not gonna eat you, I'm just a hawk. Yeah, I don't eat other birds for a living. Oh, yes, I do. Wildlife, oh, don't harass the wildlife. They're harassing me. Get out of the crusty ass space. I think they were more curious than I was. And here we go, guys. Another low pass. Man, that looks good. Now, one thing I gotta warn you and caution you about is that on the NX7E, all you get is this little beep when it goes off. And oh, I didn't set a 1 out timer. That's why. I forgot to, there's our timer, you guys hear it? Mm-hmm. So that means that we didn't just have a 5-minute flight, we had a 5 minutes flight without a 1 out, which means that I would have had to. Oh, it's so gorgeous. That means that I would have had to been stick out 25% or greater for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
that's a lot of stick playing.
You're pushing 9 right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm good. Oh, by the way, we have had some issues with hackers not communicating at all for the entire time we've worked with them. So even though this is an RC hacker pack, which has worked reasonably well, we are linking to another company if you follow our links, because RC Hacker is literally not communicating with us. And so we're afraid that you guys are gonna get burned if you try to do business with them. And that's the way we're gonna keep it until they clarify something.
Or if you've done business with them.
And you've been burned, please let us know.
Or you've had a good experience, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
nice to know.
It would be nice to know what the heck is going on. trying to flying ground effect to see how it does, because you can hear that beeping. It's usually the time of the video where I do like 3 or 4 loops.
Can you see if it'll like hammerhead or do a cornhole or?
Oh, there it is. It's dead.
Okay.
Okay, now it's dead stick, so you gotta let me do this right. So it went to low voltage protection. Here it is. Here it is, guys. That's how easy it is. Throttle cuts on, guys. 52 seconds. There's more beeping from the Vector than there is from the NX7E.
Yeah, we can hear it. Oh, goodness.
Oh, 12.7. 2.9. 3.26. 3.27. And 3.25. You know, it's ironic too, because that means one of the packs, or one of the 4, sagged prematurely. Not a big surprise. That isn't something that we haven't experienced before. As you can hear, the ESC is like, no soup for you. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you the approximate size. I'm not gonna give them any credit. 100C, 1500 milliamp hour 4S. Don't ask me why these people stopped communicating with us. It doesn't make sense. Probably because they don't have somebody that speaks English.
I forgot the batteries. I can remember if we were given, they were not to all have to.
Okay, so we're gonna fly again on 3S just to show you how it does, because technically this is 3S platform, but we don't mess around, guys, on YouTube. We wanna show you the way it really is. And to be honest with you, every single, and I'm saying every single one of these planes from Arrows Hobby Zone, we have flown on 1S more than they called for. Well, that's not true. We did do a couple of...
At the beginning, we didn't.
we didn't do that to the Marlin. We didn't need to. It was fine. We flew it on 4S,
but that's
right?
a 64 millimeter.
Yeah, right. These 50s, every single one of them, we took to the skies in 4S, and it was good.
We haven't blown one up yet.
We haven't blown up one. We haven't caught an ESC on fire yet. But admittedly, you know, if you fly this back to back to back to back to back to back to back, and it's 110 degrees out, you know, you might tend to get a little bit closer to that target of complete and utter collapse and ruin. But yeah, awesome plane, the BAE Hawk, really well done from Arrows. I did add a removable piece of tape here so that I can get my canopy opened easier, and that is definitely something that I would suggest. Obviously the center of gravity marked here with that 4S 1500 located so it's barely held by the front of the strap was about perfect. We did our shelf liner trick as usual, and we're gonna, without further ado, be right back for a 1300 3S flight. All right, guys, so I got the auto leveling on. You don't have to have it on, but it is really nice to have that Vector auto leveling when you're doing a hand launch, especially if you're hand launching next to an unfilled pond that happens to be behind your house. 3S this time, guys. Okay, so out of the Vector auto leveling, we're gonna just show you this little terrain here, guys. We're on the dam, the hypothetical pseudo dam right here. So now remember, on 3S, this plane is gonna be a different bag of tricks, folks. So just don't expect it to give you the sun, moon, and stars. Okay, I'll come right at us.
Okay.
Going downhill and then back up. And we're gonna go out over here. We'll see if we can bring it down the trees. Then we'll go up and over and through the hole. So like during the winter, I'll be able to see, but during the summer, that will be an impossible pass. And by the way, I just wanna let you know how good this is actually doing. If you really get right down to it, pay no attention to the alarm. I think my first cell, when I plugged in my 4S, it was at 3.15 on cell 1, so I wonder if we're getting a false positive.
Our voltage alarm is getting...
Yeah, these voltage alarms like to do that eventually. Okay, you guys good? Here we go. You guys see the difference in lameness because of 4S is gonna get the job done, you know. That's really what you want on this plane. But 3S, it does okay.
So
That's 70 to 80% throttle there, just so you guys know.
can I ask my question? If
Yeah.
you're a beginner, you're getting this as like a first or second EDF, do you want the tameness of 3S or do you want the power of 4S to get yourself out of trouble? Or you're gonna get in trouble?
Absolutely yes.
4S?
4S.
Okay.
Inside pass here, cam crew. I'm gonna just tell you this right now. You always want power. Power gives you choices. Choices gives you opportunity. Opportunity keeps you out of trees
Sometimes.
and
Usually.
giant dirt piles. It's kind of a different vantage point than you guys have ever seen on our property. It's definitely a more challenging flight. But that's why we're doing this on 3S, because to be honest with you, 3S, I poo-poo it because most of you are gonna be flying in a big open environment, a lot more open than this. And so for that reason, I know what your desire is gonna be, and that's gonna be to do high-speed passes, you know, but just remember, we live in a three-dimensional world, okay? If we're in a three-dimensional world, what does that mean? That means you can fly up, you can fly down, you can fly in, you can fly out, and it's fun to do. It's also a lot more challenging. It takes a lot more skill. You have to learn to look ahead of your plane, which is one of the hardest things to do in RC piloting. You have to know your terrain, and then you have to obey the rules of gravity, also known as don't crash, don't trip over giant clumps of dirt. Oh yeah.
And those stakes that the Brian just flew through are actually the elevation of the dam where it's going to tie into the hill. So we're standing in the dam right now.
In the dam.
So this vantage point actually won't exist.
This is the video of the damned. Brian Phillips RC. That was a stall. That was a stall.
Oh, I almost finished.
That is so hilarious because it's like almost exactly the way we ended our first day. Killed by 3S. Guys, you gotta laugh because that was redonkulous. I knew I was gonna totally get trapped by a tree because I knew I was like, oh crap, it's doing this.
Trees are tall.
They're really tall. The good news is it's, you know, like,
That's still way off the ground.
let's go look at it.
We can't get across that way. That bridge is gone.
Can we just go this way?
Oh, man.
What? What's wrong with this way? Show the people.
The straight down way.
Oh, you don't want to go down this mountain?
I don't want to film myself going down the mountain.
What's wrong with going down the
Here,
mountain?
I'll film you falling down the hill.
How about I go over here where I won't die? Or I will die less.
You can't tell how steep this is, unfortunately.
Ugh.
When I slide down on my butt, you'll be able to tell.
Yeah, you'll be able to tell when it's like, just like that.
PG.
If you hear that noise, you'll know what happened.
Sort of a family channel.
So, well, we are filming The Damned, which is evidently, we're inside the dam, guys. The future dam.
But now we have to go back up, right?
And by the way, there's more dirt work to be done.
Yes.
So guys, we always like to hide these Easter eggs. For those of you that watch our whole videos, there's all sorts of ridiculousness that happens. Namely, I crash into things and then we have to go find the
We're gonna have to
the
go
plane.
up, hon. Or
Huh?
run through.
Let's walk through. Welcome to our creek thing.
This is an ephemeral stream.
Ephemeral
anybody
means
that's-
it's dry most of the time unless it rains or something like that.
A lot.
Careful that stick. So guys, there are times when this runs. But yeah, that's the grading limit. As you can see, that's the bridge we built the first time. It's slightly rotten. There's the tree I need to cut down right there because it looks deadly bad.
Got hit by lightning, probably.
This tree fell, evidently. This one,
That
look,
one's-
you
that
guys
one's
want
probably
some
dead.
quality lumber here? Check this out. Yeah, it's not rotten at all.
Nope.
So yeah, as you can see, we've got, there it is.
This tree fell and grows under the creek when there's water there, and then is growing up this side.
This tree is actually that tree.
Yeah.
And that tree and that tree. Pretty cool.
We have a lot of hackberries around here, and they kind of grow.
Don't film the
everywhere.
landfill. Let's go this way.
Oh man. Okay.
So maybe I can crawl the rotten dead fall bridge. It was called the Deadfall Bridge. We actually built this bridge before we bought this property. Oh yeah, it's totally healthy. What could possibly go wrong? Nothing, right? There's no way I could possibly die doing this. Oh, also I can't reach that.
Yeah.
You know what's holding the nose on?
The wires.
The wire.
Yeah.
Maybe we should end this video now, and what we'll do is we'll go get the stick of shame and get this resolved. Thanks for watching, guys. Okay, welcome back to Bear Grylls Survivor Man V2, also known as BPRC. If you guys want to help support Brian Phillips, because he's obviously desperate to get that airplane down, all you have to do is follow the link in the video description below. And just remember,
Way up there.
if you crash your plane into a tree, you might end up like that too. So I'm gonna get some sticks and see if I can find it. Okay guys, I got wood. See?
That one's really long.
I know, that's what she said. All right, I'm gonna just put it up the
Ooh.
exhaust. Whoa, what do we have here, guys? Oh yeah. Guys, this might actually work. What, how the heck did you tangle around like that? Are you kidding me? Oh, literally, you're killing me, Bayhawk. Don't be so prissy. Get out of the tree. You know you want to come back and fly some more, obviously, by the way you broke in half. Anybody who has flown an RC plane who has not done this, you're too good of a pilot for your own good.
Just wait longer.
Oh yeah. Guys, this stick is actually perfect, and yet
Can you work it off?
the wire literally wrapped around the branch, hon.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. That stick's gonna break. You see what I'm talking about? Look at that. Are you giving them like a super extremo close-up?
Is it?
It's
Is it
quite literally wrapped onto the branch.
Is it a servo wire or is it the battery lead?
Yes,
Yes.
it is that. Oh, I don't want to do this because I'm pretty sure it's gonna fall dramatically.
Yeah.
You think so?
I think it's gonna fall dramatically, but I don't know if you have a choice.
Well, I do have a choice. I could just let it be like a Christmas decoration ornament.
Yeah, but there's a battery in there that we could use.
It could be deadly. I'm pretty sure they're talking about like in kitchens and stuff.
Yeah.
So guys, if you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, if you want to help support us, the way you can do it is you buy these planes from the links in the video description below. I know it seems like kind of a strange time to try to talk you into purchasing something, but really what we do on this channel is not so much trying to talk you or anybody else into one particular plane. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, we love doing this stuff. And that's why we share this stuff, because we don't want you to feel like you're alone in your crashing. You're not. This is literally normal. This is obviously the way that all the other YouTubers market product, is they show themselves trying to pull the product out of a tree from a rotten piece of wood.
Well, you don't have to crash yours into a tree either.
Yeah, you can actually avoid trees, and there is a trick for that, and that is to fly where trees don't exist. Like, where is that, hon?
Well, not here.
So, I don't want to miss this, because it's going to be awesome, okay? But we might take a second and see if I can figure out another idea. We'll come right back.
Okay.
All right, guys, I don't know what the heck. It's like it straddled the branch. So once I get over the top, I think we're gonna be okay. So guys, cradle to grave here on Brian Phillips RC, as you know. We don't just show you how to set them up, we show you how to crash them. What is wrapped around there? Is that the
receiver.
AR410 right there?
Yep. I think so.
And that's the vector. See that?
Not from this angle.
Okay. So I think I see what's going on. The AR410 is stuck between two branches right there.
Right there, yeah.
It just like it lodged itself in the middle of those two branch sticks. Okay. Did I get it pulled through now? Oh yeah.
I think so.
Okay, now I just need to go back up the poop chute here for a sec. So guys, if you're wondering, why do you find yourself in trees all the time? Well, the truth is, I love trees. It's kind of like, it's kind of like a tree fetish, you know, right? Camera crew, should I come out about that now?
Are you gonna be a tree hugger? Oh, there you
I don't
go.
just hug them. Whoa.
Sorry.
I get all up in their business. So guys, that's what victory looks like, obviously.
I don't think that's quite right yet.
Well, I mean, it's actually, if you're gonna crash a tree, if you're gonna crash into a tree, you crash into a tree in such a way that you can walk away from it unscathed.
Right.
Let's give them a closer look at unscathed. You want me to come down there and get the canopy?
Yeah, or I can go because the canopy is right over here.
Oh yeah, this thing's like literally brand new still, hun. Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is like, that's an easy repair.
No, I'm deadly serious.
Yeah, I am too.
Look at this. It's actually not bad at all.
You're a giant silhouette.
I'm a silhouette.
Yeah.
Well, just click on me
I did.
and change the exposure.
Didn't help.
Okay, so I gotta come down there.
Yeah, well, we got to get the canopy anyway.
That's, guys, I'm just gonna describe, that's a leaf. Yeah, that was a very clean break, folks.
Yeah.
I did get some dings on the wing though. Okay, you want me to come down there and
Yeah,
we'll
we
start
gotta
back
get the
up? Or do you wanna, you're gonna watch me, aren't you?
Yeah.
So that people can point and laugh.
I wouldn't want to miss if you fell.
So folks, if you're brand new to RC, you might as well just plan on doing this from time to time. So, Han, do we have the stick of shame in the supplies links?
Oh, I'll put it there.
The stick of shame is a painter's stick that extends, and they make a few different varieties. Some lengths are longer than others. And if you've never had a stick of shame, it's definitely a tool you want to have. Look at this creek, guys. I probably need like 6 life jackets on this. Whoa! Here it is, guys. Canopy, almost unscathed. Okay.
Yeah.
And airplane. It's not too bad. We had a little bit of dingage over here, and then literally China glue will save the day. This needs to be glued where you see the red paint is missing. Oh, those wires would go through that gap. So I'll probably just unplug them and stick them back in. Yep. And then that goes back on there. That's probably a 2-minute repair. In fact, do we need to show the repair now that we've shown the crash?
I've already done that once.
Let's show the repair. We'll be back in a minute, guys. We got to get out of the woods. Okay, paper towel, toothpickers, Q-tip, gloves that I'm taking off. Those are nitro gloves, doubled up. When it's real cold, it makes it nicer to fly. And when you get stuck in the bush. All right, guys, so just looking inside of here, obviously we have the plane. It's still sort of working. I think we must have yanked the, yeah, we yanked this out. So that's the, which way does that go? I don't know. We'll find out. It's gonna go one way or the other. Okay, good. Yep, so it works still. So everything basically works with the exception of we haven't tested throttle. Throttle cuts off. Keeping in mind that the low voltage warning is probably going into effect. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug the battery. We'll go ahead and undo the Velcro. We're just showing this repair because we know there's a lot of new people out there that are gonna crash a plane and they're gonna think it's the end of the world. And even when it looks like this, it's not the end of the world. Now, of course, you're gonna have little scuffs and dings like that, which is frustrating. But to be honest with you, it's not the end of the world. You'll be able to fly the plane again, almost certainly in most cases. Okay, so you see this little piece of foam? That ripped off right in this general vicinity, okay? But because it's kind of between the two halves, we'll have to eliminate that. I glued these down, okay? So I can just release this plug. And I'm doing this without any specialty tools or anything weird. Okay, so I may have to break those free to actually get those off. Or alternatively, this was opened up so I can just, it's actually supposed to go on the front side of this. You see how this?
Just work them through.
Yeah, just work them through the little hole. Yeah, through the crack. Just stick the things through the crack. We do that a lot on Brian Phillips RC. You may have noticed when we were out in the forest, I had a giant stick going up this thrust tube, and that's how I got this out of the tree. So we're gonna pop this thing out. These, I'd rather not glue them, but if I have to, it's not the end of the world. Oh, there we go. Okay, so once I get one, it should be easy to get the other. So you gotta open those fingers. And I don't know which one's which. To be honest, it shouldn't matter, but sometimes it does. Okay, so now they're unplugged. There was just a little bit of glue that got on the back half of that connector. So I'll go ahead and peel that off. That's China glue, by the way. Okay, so now China glue. FMS sells bottles. Ooh, by the way, the FMS bottles are bigger. And so I'm just gonna show you this too. If you find yourself needing China glue, and you do, this is what you'd be buying. This came as like a gift or something, or it came with like a plain. So kind of same formula or similar. This is actually more yellow, but you have to pierce the aluminized tube to open it. So I don't open a tube until I finish another. And believe me, I go through China glue.
Yeah.
Like way faster than I want to. But that's okay, because I enjoy this hobby and I'm not gonna let a crash stop me from enjoying it, okay? So you see this, just a little bit of glue here. And I'm talking like a couple of drops there. And then you can take your Q-tip and spread that around. Pretty simple stuff. Once you spread that around, then you wanna let that tack up for just a second. So while that's tacking up, I'll do just a little bit more glue here, okay? And then these wires will pass through the opening, okay? You have to be able to reverse engineer kind of what happened. It's not rocket science unless it happens to be a rocket ship, and then it would be rocket science, I guess, technically.
Reverse engineer, like hitting the tree.
Okay, so normally you would wait for that to tack up. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna let that tack up. While that tacks up, you're gonna get other things dealt with, like applying the schmear. You have to schmear this thing. So I'm gonna start by schmearing this thing, see? This is already double-sided tape, so you don't need a lot of schmear. But what I'm doing is I wanna get the schmear on there so it can start tacking up. And I know you guys are probably like, what are you talking about, tacking up? You know, I use CA, I never have to wait for that to tack up. That's true, because this is a different type of glue. This is what they glue all the stuff together with in China. And then of course they use CA for some plastic to foam attachment points and things like that. But this is just basically like a contact adhesive. So as a kid, if you grew up when I did, you probably had rubber cement. Okay, so this is probably tacked up enough. And then how do you know if it's tacked up enough? Take that Q-tip and see if you get little stringy things. Oh, I'm trying to get you lighting. Yeah, you don't have stringy things started yet. So if you want to encourage the air to get in there, it will eventually start getting stringy. Now, because I know how this is gonna fit, and I know this isn't like super structurally important, it's just creating some separation here. I can slide that in. And then that gives me the ability, anywhere you see white, I wanna go ahead and do just a little bit of glue all the way along, all the way down, and all the way along. On the bottom side, that's actually the top of the shelf there. Okay, so you see all I'm doing is just glue in that area. Now down here, I probably don't need to, but I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it anyway. I don't even know if it's gonna make contact. So when there's a bigger gap, you gotta get a little thicker with the glue. But you guys kind of see what I'm talking about there. So you just get that glue on there, and normally the China glue in the big bottle is really good stuff though. I've been really happy with it. I usually just spread this around. Can you see what that looks like? Pretty good. You can get a good aerial photo. Aerial. All right, so we're gonna spread that around, guys. And then all that has to happen is, like I said, that just has to cook off for a few minutes. And basically it has to breathe in the air and chemically react. And you see how it starts getting stringy? You guys see the stringiness? That's usually a telltale sign. You see the strings? They look like cobwebs or something, okay? Once you start seeing strings, you might be okay to push it together. But I want to glue both surfaces, okay? Both surfaces is the best way to do it if you can, and it's not always going to work out that way. Of course, these are the aileron cables. You can see I got some strings on my coat. So I'm going to come in here. This is actually the wing. It's not supposed to glue on there. That's why there was no glue there. I just realized that. Whatever. No, don't worry about it. I'll just glue. Throw caution to the wind. Whatever. I'm just going to glue it. So when we go to take this plane apart, if we ever do, it's going to be very confusing, and we'll be like, why the heck does this thing not come apart? And then we'll remember this time, and we'll say, oh, that Brian Phillips RC, what a rascal. That's exactly the way the conversation's going to go.
Yeah.
Won't be any swearing or yelling. Pull that. Well, there might be some of that. All right, so now I'm going to take and just slather this creamy texture all around, just like this. And we want to get it to a point where all the surfaces are going to have just a little bit of that adhesive to cook off. Okay, now you spread it out, you increase the surface area, it's going to be okay. All right, you're going to get good adhesion. And you see it's starting to get stringy. You see the strings on there? Ugh. Ugh, feel like a spider. Okay, see the strings? All right, so now the best thing to do on something like that where it's somewhat critical would be to let it cook for a second and then come back and test your work. Okay, so I like to kind of curl this up tight like that. And then I can just look, oh yeah, it's getting really, it's not quite as sticky as I'd like yet, but it's getting there, okay? See, when I roll it, it's kind of sloughing off. You see it'll like fall. That is not set up enough to actually bond those together, okay? It will eventually bond when it dries, but now we're gonna get into some crazy specialty tools now called a toothpick. All right, so now that we have a toothpick in hand, what I wanna do is I wanna take this plane and I wanna think about where we have to toothpick. And it looks like these go at an angle like that, the surface. So we can't use that, but we can go right here. So I'm just gonna go straight back like that. Yeah. So all you need to do is pin this in, 1 or 2 places and you'll be golden, okay? And that's just gonna hold it while everything sets up, okay? And you'll see like even that one, I shot through and it exposed itself. You see where it exposed itself?
Oh, yeah.
Point at it.
Right.
Yep. Okay. So what's going to happen is, as a result of that exposure, nothing. I just wanted to let you guys know it's going to be okay. Now, that being said, I'm going to take these 2 wires and I'll probably just kind of carefully set these back in here. And that way when we go to stuff all this stuff together, remember we've already glued this surface, we've already glued this surface, there needs to be a little bit more glue there. So maybe while we wait for just a second longer, I'll take this little bit of goodie and just put it right there, okay? So now just to show you, this stuff's been sitting for just a second and it's already really starting to get that rubbery strength that you expect from an EPO foam. I don't know why I said EPS. EPS, of course, would be quite a bit more brittle. Now, we know where these 2 go because you can just sort of deduce that they're going to end up about there, right? So I just have to be very critically careful with my aim. Now, if you're not good with your aim, pull those sticks out, mark them with a red marker, and they will transfer the mark onto the other half of the airplane. Also, I've got a little bit of an angle here, which is maybe not so good because that will make it really hard to plug those together, okay? So I'm going to just push those together. I'm just going to come in here and make a super estimated guess, and we'll see if we get lucky. Push that wire down in there. Nope, not going to get it. I'll push it in myself, like this, okay? So now I'm just lining up everything I can line up, and just kind of stick her together. So that must have been a natural breakpoint in the build process for the manufacturer, which explains why we had some. I'm gonna grab my thrust tube, put it up against my belly, and just press this together. Sorry about the hacking and sniffing, guys. It was cold outside. It's like below 30 degrees today, which means here in Iowa, winter's almost here. Like this is still spring. I'm just kidding, it's not spring. Yesterday was spring, today is winter. Okay, so now what we need to do for a minute while things just kind of set up, we're gonna go around and just pick up these little balls. You just went right in your light. Thank you, right there. These little balls. So what I wanna do is I just wanna turn it. You see how it starts to pick up? See, once it picks up, it'll take it out, okay? And then just a little bit more down there. And it doesn't, you can do this afterward, but I like to do as much of it right away as I can, because that stuff will pull the paint off if you're not careful, okay? Now, the other thing is this vector is spatially aware. So at this point, can you make sure you're out of the light? Okay, so this throttle, this is a thrust reverse control. We're not going to use that on this plane. It's absolutely unnecessary on this plane. It's not on all planes. It's sweet on most new planes, but this one's just a belly lander, okay? All right, so now that that's done, I can reach back in there, probably with my sticky tip, and I can grab the wires, okay? Let's see, I'm just trying to use non-specialty tools, like Q-tips. Those are non-specialty, right?
Right.
Goodness gracious, how far did I stick that? Oh,
Way back in there.
I did. Well, I had to.
Yeah.
Okay, are you out of the light? You sure? Okay, so I'm gonna do some more cable management because we all love cable management. Brown's down, it's toward my belly in this case. We'll stick that through, snap it in, and then we're gonna stick this in and hope that we have them correct. To be honest, it shouldn't matter, but suppose it did. I'll show you how to resolve that in just 2 seconds. Oh, and by the way, when we're done with this, we're gonna go out there and launch it and just show you that it does work. I mean, we promise not to crash into another tree.
I would maybe not promise that.
They're not. Okay, so I'm not gonna promise that. Camera crew has warned me. Okay, so I'm gonna stuff that back up in there, paying special attention to where the rod is. I'm feeling it with my ring finger in this case to keep that away from any linkages or movement that could cause a problem, okay? And then the yellow wire, I'm just gonna stuff underneath for the thrust reverse. And then this, obviously no damage on that. And I didn't glue it because it's not spatially aware, so it didn't really even care where it is in time and space. It's just wandering through life aimlessly, okay? Because that's an AR-410, as opposed to, why do they not offer, well, I suppose they could offer an AR-410 that had stabilization, so it'd be like a 420 or something.
It'd be a 430.
430? Yeah, why not? Spectrum, answer that. Riddle me this. Why is there not a 4-channel expandable receiver that you can just squish together in a series,
right,
and then make assignments for channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and then channel 4. But then guess what? Spectrum, I'd like another channel. So then you get another channel and so on and so forth until you have enough channels to do what you want to do. Also, I'm just looking at this canopy now and I'm realizing, you know, I think where I did this, see that? Show the people what I did. I totally screwed up. Do you see what I did?
Are you glue those before it's making the canopy bolts?
Go back over here so I can show the people. Do you guys see what I did? There's 2 ways to resolve this. See this? That is not gonna allow this canopy to fall down in here. So I'm gonna do the easy thing, okay? Now you don't have to do this at all if you don't want to. But I'm gonna take a little bit off of my canopy rather than take those wires up. Partly because I just crashed into a tree with this plane, but then partly because I know that there's plenty to align it. Now the second thing I need to do is I need to get another battery in here. So do we show them with the big battery or do we show them with the little battery? Let's do a little battery, just because we're just gonna show them a quick flight. Now also full disclosure, 3.84, 3.83, 3.84. Okay, so this one needs to be charged. This one here, we'll go ahead and voltage alarm it. Okay, so yeah, okay, so we're good enough. We're good for flight. So if you guys don't know this, the lipos run from About 3, roughly, to be honest. They can go a little lower, but you're not really supposed to about 4.2. That's the operating range. I think technically, by merit, you would go from 3.8 for storage voltage level to about 4.2, okay? So remember, this strap is a little longer. So if you fly this plane a lot and you don't want to deal with that, you can just like trim the strap, okay? Now the other thing is I'm thinking it might be nice if I could pin another pinpoint. So I'm gonna not slice and dice today. Okay, so you see this? I'm gonna find one more place to pin. And it's gonna be at the top, okay? So obviously there's a lot going on here. So what I wanna do is I wanna try to pin right here. I'm holding my hand launch holes. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, by the way, I show you one other amazing tool. So by the way, Camera Crew is going to add the Stick O' Shame onto the tools list, but we already have forceps of some sort. Like these are just generic ones that I got at the store. Forceps, also known as hemostats, are very nice in the RC world. Okay, so you see what I just did here? I'm gonna clamp onto this thing and I'm gonna push it in to get more penetration. Beautiful, okay? Now watch this. I don't really care about that little bit, so I'm gonna break it off. And you're thinking to yourself, but that's not gonna let your canopy go on there. You are so observant. Watch this. Now I'm gonna just take this, and I'm gonna just very carefully push that in until it is unexposed. And then same thing over here, because now we have 4 points of contact, except this time I'm gonna go forward, okay? And remember, you gotta make sure you got material to hit, okay? Now I'm gonna break this one a little bit earlier because the pin effect will be less effective. Now I'm gonna show you another trick. So now you can clamp that on there like this, then you're not gonna worry about it slipping and getting huge splinter. You just have to worry about small splinters. See, that's the only thing you gotta watch for. So if it does that and it's difficult, then try flipping it around. So you go to the blunt edge, and sometimes you can get a better press on it here. Oh yeah. You see, I've got 2 fingers depressing that, and I can stabilize the joint with my index finger here, okay? You see how easy that is, folks? So these are the little nitpicky things that we do on Brian Phillips RC that try to help encourage people in the hobby. If you're brand new to the hobby and you're just learning how to fly, you're gonna be crashing constantly. So if you think you're not going to, and you think, hey, I need to quit because I suck at this or some nonsense like that, just remember it, it's just that, that's nonsense. Everybody crashes, and if you go, was that a delivery? Oh, okay. Never know what it could be. We usually don't.
I do know what that is.
Oh, you do? Is it good?
Well,
No?
I'm not really.
Okay, so I'm gonna plug this in. So this, of course, is an IC3 going to an XT60, so it's a little bit harder. And this is the newer style XT60, so it's a little bit more robust. And so these things don't like to go in as easy, but they still do, okay? Just letting it go through the startup process. And then what we're gonna do is elevator up, elevator down, roll left, roll right. Okay, so sorry for the interruption. We had some certified mail regarding our culvert. But it's all right, it wasn't lean. On the 4th page they said that.
Yeah, should lead with that.
Okay, so as you can see, everything is together. Now it's just a matter of kind of checking our work to see if we have clearance here. And I feel like this video is gonna be deja vu for you guys if you've ever watched us fly a plane any other time. You know, Brian flies, Brian crashes, everybody thinks it's hilarious, and then he fixes it, and it looks practically brand new.
If you go buy your plane, then you'll know how to fix it.
And that's why we do this on Brian Phillips RC, because all joking aside, flying comes with inherent risks like bottoming out into a 100-foot tall tree because you decided to fly in a ditch for a new pond that's not full yet.
But that kind of goes to what we were talking about when we were out there, is like you have to learn to fly your environment. And for us, that's a new spot spot. Like, you're gonna have to learn how to fly from the dam.
Also, I should have flown on 4S back there because what did we say about power?
Exactly.
Power saves lives in airplanes, because the reason I lost that plane is because I got into that stall up there and I just didn't have enough juice to get out of it, and I could have gone the other direction. But just stupid mistakes like that are kind of part of the hobby when you're having fun doing it. And let's just talk about this for a minute. The consequences were so dire because it's been like, what, 45 minutes of wasted time. And that's just all, you know, that's the way it is. Because I don't particularly hate fixing stuff. The only reason I hate fixing stuff is when we have other deadlines, which we do. And so for that reason, I'm a little bit annoyed. But we're gonna go out and we're gonna launch this right now. And do we?
You should just check and make sure your ailerons are going the right way.
Oh, good idea.
Because you said it didn't matter the way they were plugged in.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Roll left, roll right. All the different modes. Yeah, okay, so everything is working. So we'll go outside real quick and we're gonna basically glove up and make sure we're ready to rock, and then we're gonna be out there, so it's probably gonna be like 2 minutes more worth of glue curing time. We talked to the mail carrier for what, like 3 or 4 minutes? So the reason I talk about that is the overall time on this China glue, okay? I'm gonna just show you. We'll fly this, it'll be perfectly fine, and then if the nose rips off, you can laugh your butts off as I crash. Again, the nose comes off, but it's not going to. So we'll prove it to you again, like we always do on Brian Phillips RC, so stay tuned for just a sec. All right, just so you know, there's no funny business going. You can see the damage from the trees and right there. And then of course, the repairs with the amazing sticks and whatnot, and here goes nothing. I am not an auto leveling, 3S. $1,300 3S. Do you hear the hawk? Mm-hmm. Where is it? I think it's...
Probably about where you crashed a couple minutes ago.
You think so? Here we go, right here. So there you have it, guys. Would you have laughed your butts off if I crashed into that tree again? So there you have it, guys. What a beautiful plane. Super fun from Arrows. Check it out through the links in our video description below if you want to help support what we do here on Brian Phillips RC, which is basically fly them to the point where we do stupid things like crash into trees. But the difference between us and them is that we're gonna show you exactly what we did to fix it. Probably 90% of the time we do. Sometimes they're just beyond repair. This is not one of those times. And so far the NX7 has been fine. The NX7E definitely has a smaller battery. So if you do get one, trying to save a few bucks, just keep in mind, you might wanna get the bigger battery. But that thing's like 50 bucks.
You can always add that later. Upgrade your battery.
Yeah. But really, if you just want to get by for a couple of years, let's go out here. If you want to get by for a couple of years, while you're working your way through the ranks, it might be a great place to start, folks. And then you can follow along our videos, just knowing that there's going to be certain times that you're going to lose some channels, and you'll have to make some really difficult choices and be somewhat miserable. Or you can just get the NX10 and do everything we do. By the way, you guys hear that incessant, obnoxious beeping? Mm-hmm. That would be our voltage alarm warning me, watch out for the ground. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, that was... I'm gonna leave that to your imagination. What do you think?
So no.
So guys, one thing you can definitely learn from watching me crash is that this plane, when it gets low juice on 3S, it definitely gets squirrel-tastic, okay? And I don't know if you guys gathered that from when I crashed into the top of the tree, but I'm gonna tell you something, it actually flies very good until it doesn't. And then it flies pretty crappy.
You're just gonna ignore the incessant beeping?
Oh yeah. Oh. Well, it started out that way, so. I think we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna take a landing if you wanna, I don't know if you wanna be there or what, but the wind is kinda, oh wow. That windsock is wrapped around itself. It's like loving itself. Got to go over the cherry. Oh, I'm carrying way too much speed. I'm gonna just do a slower circuit, guys. Man, that red looks good, doesn't it?
Great in the sun now.
Oh, there is no rudder on this plane, but it's less noticeable than some of the other 50s that are available right now. Just a full disclosure, because that does annoy me. There it is, guys. All right, so throttle cuts on. We flew that one for about 4 minutes, just shy of 4 minutes. It would have been 15 seconds, so it would have been 4 full minutes. So great plane, really fun. Obviously 4S is the way to go. 1500 milliamp is a great size. Now, you can technically squeeze a 2200 4S in there and you can fly, but I'm gonna tell you, you gotta have that thing pushed all the way back, and it is very heavy on its feet. So I don't recommend it. So guys, without further ado, good job with another amazing product from Arrows. Check it out in the links of the video description below. And if you guys want to learn something about fixing something somehow because you broke it yourself like me, then you're at the right place. Brian Phillips RC NX7E. If you want to check that out, we'll link to that. AR410, we'll link to that as well, guys. Thanks for buying stuff from the links. That's the #1 way you can support us financially as we do this YouTube channel. If you choose not to do that and you want to support us in other ways, we obviously love it when you guys do PayPal, Patreon, monthly supporters. It does get you some level of access to me on comments, but it's not listed as such. It's just kind of the way it works out. And then YouTube members, thanks if you're a monthly supporter there, and then YouTube super thanks for one time. But we firmly believe the best way that everybody wins in this equation is when you buy planes that you like, helicopters that you like, VTOLs, quads, that sort of stuff, transmitters, batteries, chargers, leaf blowers, and that sort of thing from the links in the video description below. And if you can't find something that you really want and you've maybe seen us review, there's 2 good ways to find what you're looking for. Right here on YouTube, you can click on my face and then search our channel for content. I would search the playlist generally because there's a lot less playlists. We have like 1900 plus videos right now. And so if you're searching for a specific video, go to the playlist about the plane you know you want to see and then look that way. Now, alternatively, if you want to sort by type, that's this thing.
Oh. Inactivity?
No, it's just low voltage warning on the transmitter because we left it on the whole time. I'm going to shut it off. So here's the thing, guys. If you want to support us in that way, what was I talking about?
Well, we went through the 4.
Yeah, the
best thing to do.
The best thing to do is just buy airplanes,
yeah.
Okay? Because really, at the end of the day, we want you guys to win, we want to win, and we want to help the manufacturers that support us win as well. Now, that being said, I know that some of you are bummed that there's been some changing of hats with Arrows products, and I know who you are, okay? Because we get it. We totally get it. But at the end of the day, this is still an awesome product, and it might be on sale right now. So check the links in the video description below. The other way you can sort to find what you're looking for would be by type of plane and by the affiliate or brand or partnership that we worked with, and that's at brianphillipsrc.com. So if you're searching and you're trying to find the answers to your questions, you can leave it in the comments below, but really it's hard. Sometimes we get those comments. It's hard for us to search because we're out as well. And when we're in front of the computer, it's pretty easy because we can search really quick with the utilities that we have on YouTube. But the thing is, if you go to Brian Phillips RC, you're going to have a really robust tool that Megan has worked her butt off to help you guys find exactly what you're looking for. And then you just scroll through the list, you'll see like the thumbnail of the plane or whatever it is we did. And then you can just follow that back to the playlist if you want to see some more information about it, or you can just go in there and just buy it right there. So like, hey, I want to buy this, but I can't find the link in my video description below. Because like if you're on a mobile device, it's sometimes kind of hard to figure out how to expand the video description, okay? So once you get to the video description, there'll be like links that just go down the list. It's pretty straightforward stuff. And it'll say like, what does this one say? Like Arrows, BAE Hawk, something like that. And so when you follow that, then you'll be able to see the website where we worked, the affiliate that we work with, where we get commissions if you bought, okay? But at that point, you can see how much it costs, if it's gonna be for shipping, and then you can go ahead and fill your cart and do your normal online shopping. It doesn't change anything at that point. They just know that we sent you over there, okay? So that's how that works if you guys weren't already aware, okay? We try to be super transparent about that because at the end of the day, our trust with you is way more important to us than the trust from these guys. Okay, we obviously want them to send us planes so we can review thousands of them, which we've done. Well, maybe not thousands, hundreds, definitely hundreds. We've done thousands of videos, but we've done hundreds of planes probably, you know, and then there's other stuff too. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if we don't have an audience that's interested in watching these videos. And so even though this stuff is very interesting to me, we hope it's just as interesting to you. And really at the end of the day, we want to grow the hobby. We want to grow the companies that are giving us what we want. And we want to help you guys love every minute of doing it right alongside us. We don't want you just watching the videos. We want you flying with us. So the best way to do that is to occasionally buy the plane you like. And if this isn't the plane for you, we understand. If you want the 80 millimeter BAE Hawk from FMS, that's fine too. It's awesome as well. One of our favorites. And so I gotta say, there's something about a nice hand launched plane that's got no retracts, that's very basic, very fun. Throw it in the back of the truck, take it on your business trip with you, you know, go out and fly it, you know, for fun. And plus these things are just, there's something about the disposability scale when you get into the cheaper planes compared to the most expensive planes that you can fly, that just, there is a sweet spot for everybody as you progress through the hobby. And in my experience, the more I progress into the hobby, the more I have an appreciation, even if it's not an outright desire to go after just this type of plane, but I have a strong appreciation for the fun that comes from flying an easier to fly plane that's gonna be low consequence if you crash into a tree. Yep. If I crash the 80 into the tree, I'd have a whole day ahead of me of fighting to try to fix it. It'd be super discouraging. And even though I love that plane, and there's a good chance I probably wouldn't end up in a tree because I wouldn't take that chance, it's just part of the consequence. Okay, so then let's flash forward 3 or 4 more planes, and now all of a sudden you're dealing with a $20,000 jet with a turbine engine in it. Just think about the difference in your soul when you fly. The payback for the fun of getting in the air and flying for 15 minutes on Jet A or some other fuel. That would be so cool, and yet there is a trade-off because you have a family car in the budget for that thing.
Right.
Compared to this thing that you could literally go to McDonald's and spend more. Well, you'd have to have a pretty big family, but even still, it's expensive at McDonald's these days.
You can go to some sit-down restaurants.
You can go to some sit-down restaurants and spend this entire budget on this one plane, okay? Maybe you'd have to be spending a lot, but still, even still, maybe a couple of dinners for the family. So I'm not suggesting your kids go hungry. Don't hear me wrong. I'm just saying there is a difference for the working class that knows what it's like to go out and make $400 or to go out and earn $200. It doesn't grow on trees. No matter how hard I've tried, they never grow money. It really pisses me off. But they do cost money. Yeah. So anyway, guys, at the end of the day, we're here to help grow the hobby, pour ourselves into you so that you can get the best experience out of it as possible. Hopefully we've struck a chord. If we have, smash the like button, click the subscribe button, and then choose to click the bells so you get notified when we put out new content, which is all the time, really. Sometimes it's up to 5-6 times a week on a very busy week, and then usually it's more like 1 to 2 times. But either way, we're not gonna leave you wanting, because even when we're out of town doing business, like going to flight clubs and different things like that, or big events, we wanna give you guys content to keep you satiated, because we know this is an addiction, and we're glad we've got you hooked, hopefully, by now. So, all right, guys, that's all you get for today. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully the BAE Hawk, all the questions you had are answered, and hopefully the NX7, you're getting to where you're comfortable with the fact that even though it looks a little bit like a cow, it still works more like a transmitter. And honestly, all joking aside, it works well. The one complaint I have so far on this is the voice. I didn't think I would care, but I've kind of gotten to like the countdown, and I like the better, more audible alarm at expiration of time, because it's very easy to miss on this thing. But you get airwear, you get all the functionality. There's a lot of stuff you're getting that you might need, and you can do without some of those features, okay? If you've never had them, you won't miss them, okay? And that being said, it does look kind of cool when it charges, because like this thing changes colors. And like right now it's orange, you can't quite see because of the sun. And it's warning me now, do you want me to shut you down or what? Because the battery is dying, but as you can see, it's still controlling the plane, which is nice, okay? That's the warning. You guys hear that? Not very loud when you're running an 80 millimeter EDF. But truth is, at the end of the day, if you're running an 80 millimeter EDF, you probably need to be thinking about getting into something like an NX10 because you're gonna need the channels.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's all you got for today. Thanks so much for watching. World's best audience right here on YouTube. Come back for more.